Hey, folks, we're going to give some time for people to come in. We're going to start in a few minutes. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It's another beautiful day in the crypto bull market. I want to break down the different metrics, where we're at, where we're going, and some of the interesting news in the market as well, because we're seeing huge adoption of crypto, big narratives coming out, and all in time for the move to higher prices and, of course, the move to the blow off top. Good to see everybody in here. We got John Doe says the pumps don't wait. Cav B, great to have you. Heinrich, great to have you on X. We're streaming on YouTube, Twitch, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, kick.com, Rumble. We are everywhere, folks, trying to get the message out there about crypto and how to prepare for what's coming, because there's going to be a massive euphoric greed fill rally coming. And if you are planning to take profits, that's the time, you're going to want to look to execute your plan. We got Kroll Bro, if I'm saying that right. Great to see you. Heinrich says everything in crypto changes except Bitcoin maxis. Oh man, Bitcoin maxis are funny, man. Look, I have a friend who's a Bitcoin maxi, but he's not like, hardcore crazy. There's some of them that are very crazy, like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I think it's the same mentality that exists in like sports or religion. People become extremists, right? They don't have a balanced view of things. So folks, let's talk about the market, but make sure you smash the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the heart button wherever you're watching and listening. It will help support the show. So folks, right now Bitcoin trading at over $119,000 on the move. As we highlighted last week, after Bitcoin hit 123,000, a new all-time high, it was in the overbought zone and it clearly pulled back, and then that liquidity started hitting the whole started making its way down to the altcoins, and we saw Ethereum, XRP, and other altcoins start to rally since then. What's interesting is that for Bitcoin, there is a CME gap at $115,000. So could Bitcoin, go down and test that before we continue? It's possible, but it's not guaranteed, right? We've seen these type of things before. This is where we're going to have to be patient. But we've seen altcoins, like I said, Ethereum and others show a lot of strength, and that's a very good sign for the entire altcoin market. So ETH is taking a bit of a breather, but you can notice here on the chart, its RSI is in the overbought zone. So that's the danger zone, in the sense that it's not going to continue to go higher until there's a cool down. Now, sometimes it can linger in the overbought zone for a while. We've seen this even like, for example, in Q4 with the run up there. Oh, wait, that's the wrong part I was looking at. In Q4, when the market ran up, or even in previous cycles, this thing can really hang out there for a while. But this is a warning that a cool down is needed. A pullback is going to take place. The same thing is happening with XRP. Overbought zone. Notice that, right? The RSI is in the green, just like it was in Q4. Clear as day, the signals here. So it doesn't mean it has to go back to the oversold zone, because it depends on the timing of the market. But this, once again, is a warning signal. Hey, prepare for volatility, some sort of pullback. Or it hangs out in the overbought zone for a little bit more and keeps going higher. That's where we're going to have to be patient and watch how things play out. But everything is still on track. The thesis of the bull market being intact is still intact, as mentioned. So even Solana is joining the party here. Yesterday, it started breaking out, and you can see that it is now clearly above the 200-day moving average. We were also looking at Litecoin on the show the other day, because there was some big news around Litecoin, and it's a legacy coin and it's on the move. So clearly liquidity is cycling through the market, and it's what you want to see, folks. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. Crawl, walk, run. We're going to stair step our way out of these consolidation zones, but looking very good here. And the confirmation around some of these moves are Bitcoin dominance collapsing clearly, but you can see it's in the oversold zone, and you can see it's starting to reverse a bit. So this is where that cool down I mentioned earlier is happening on multiple fronts. But when Bitcoin dominance is falling, it doesn't mean Bitcoin's not pumping. It means that Bitcoin and altcoins are starting to move. So we have confirmation signals that we've seen in prior rallies and prior bull markets. Just look at what happened in Q4 of 2024, right? The most recent major rally, and same thing has been playing out here. And Tether dominance also collapsing. As I've been saying to you guys, this thing falls below 4% and it heads down to the mid threes. That's going to be very bullish for the entire market. But what you can see here, it's in the oversold zone. If we use the RSI as an indicator of what's the next potential move, you can see some sort of cool down and consolidation is needed here. So folks, maybe over the next or this week or next week and a half, things are not going to be as exciting. It's going to be a little bit boring, a little bit sideways chop, right? Before the next leg up. So just be mentally prepared for these things. Markets move in cycles. And this is why we use these indicators like RSI and MACD to get an idea where we're at and what's coming next. Now, total 3. This is all the altcoins, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins. It is also in the overbought zone. Notice the green area here, right? Similar to what took place in Q4 after that major rally and then a cool down. Something very similar is happening here. So as a reminder, though, notice how in Q4 it hung out in the overbought zone for a good amount of time. Same thing can happen here, right? As we continue higher. But I don't think this move right now or in the immediate short term is a move to a blow off top. I think it's a move to a local top, and I think the blow off top comes in the fall, in late Q3 into Q4. That timing is in alignment with Congress passing the market structure bill and with global liquidity. Right now, the charts show global liquidity topping out around then. We have to give it more time to see if it reverses and keeps going higher. But as of right now, the data tells us that liquidity, which has been the leading indicator, which risk assets have been following, is topping out come October, November-ish, around that time zone. Or we'll see if this is the top zone where I'll be telling you guys, hey, I'm exiting the market, or I've exited at least 80% of my bags. And if there is some more upside, then the additional 20% will be exited as we head higher. So that's where we're at, folks. All good, all great signs. And this is where you got to exercise some patience to understand these markets. They don't go up in a straight line. They move in cyclical patterns, both from the micro and the macro. With global liquidity moving up, we see the stock market is also following. So risk assets, right? S&P 500, NASDAQ, it's all going together, folks. You'll notice real estate valuations are up. The collectible market is up. Gold, of course, is starting to move again. It was moving very strong ahead of the other risk assets, and it cooled down. So you're seeing even in the macro for these different asset classes, the rotational liquidity, and it's all following global liquidity, right? So macro bull market thesis still in play. The other factor, on-chain data shows us that Bitcoin whales with wallets of 10 or more Bitcoin continue to accumulate. They're not exiting, they're not dumping. And this is one of the signals we're going to watch closely as we head into the top zone or the blow off top zone. So I like what I'm seeing here. There's going to be ebbs and flows on the micro view of this chart. That's healthy and normal. But from the macro, the overall trend, we see a clear uptrend here, right? Despite the peaks and valleys, the ebbs and flows here. So they continue to accumulate. Signals like the Pi cycle top indicator have not flashed. They have flashed in the previous bull markets. Now, it doesn't have to play out exactly like it has in the previous bull markets, where the 111-day moving average and the 350-day moving average converge. If they start getting closer, that's where, once again, I'll be signaling to you guys, hey, we got to prepare, because this thing looks like it's going to wrap up soon. What we are seeing, though, the curvature of the moving average, they're starting to move a bit closer as Bitcoin's price increases. So something to keep in mind, right? We got some time to go, but it's the time to pay attention as well, because things can move very, very fast. But folks, I'm bullish. Higher prices are coming. I anticipate we are going to see, if I highlight some next targets for Bitcoin, the next major move could take us between 127 to 132K or 135K. So not too far away. For XRP, a lot of analysts are calling for $4.50. My hope is that that can run up to $5, at which point I will be taking some profits off the table there. ETH, clearly the next target is 4K, and maybe it overshoots it a bit and goes to like 4,500, right? So we'll have to wait and see. As far as Solana, looks like the next target ish, could be around like $250 or so. And again, that could take us to a local top, and late August being a corrective pullback, and that bleeds into September, and then the rally continues maybe in the second half of September. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just going off the data I have today, but the macro thesis, I think, is validated with everything that's going on. Global liquidity, how the market's been moving, risk assets overall moving, the DXY, the dollar currency index, obviously here continuing its downtrend. And we've seen historically when the dollar is weak and in this downfall, risk assets are doing the opposite. There's an inverse correlation. The risk assets are pumping. So all great signs, no feelings, no emotions, right? Just simply the data. What is it telling us? And clearly it shows that we have more to go in this bull market. I do believe the blow off top is going to take place this year. There are some people saying this could go into 2026. I personally don't think so. But regardless, we can say that within the next 4 to 5 to 6 months, we're going to see some sort of top, right? So again, now's the time to pay attention and understand how the cyclical patterns of these markets work. And it's playing out just like it has in the previous bull markets. Folks, before we go further, please hit that thumbs up button, hit the heart button, hit the like button wherever you're watching and listening. Subscribe if you haven't as yet. Check out our sponsors, Uphold, great place to buy, sell, and stake cryptocurrencies. Check out Trezor. I'm a user of the product, the Trezor Safe 5. They make it easy to self-custody your crypto assets safely. They support all the big coins. They have a hand-holding service as well. And you can use the code ThinkingCrypto, all one word, to get 5% off. Check out iTrust Capital. If you use my exclusive link, you get a $100 funding bonus. This is another great and safe alternative to invest in crypto and custody your crypto. You can do it through an IRA, so you have tax benefits, and they have one of the best custody solutions out there. They work with a bank to custody your crypto assets, so one of the safest ways. So check out iTrust Capital. Really, really great service here. I have an account with them. Check out Proppy. They're putting real estate on chain. I'm a Proppy token holder. Also check out VeChain. I'm a VET token holder. Many brands and companies are working with VeChain globally to build Web3 technology. The UFC and Dana White are partnered with them, so check them out. All the links will be in the description. Also sign up for my free email newsletter, 100% free. Check out my book on Amazon and my course at mycryptocourse.com. So folks, again, we're on track. Just a bit of a cool down that is needed here for this market, because you can't have a continual straight line run up. Markets need to reset the sentiment, and they need to cool down, because look, with these major moves, Bitcoin going to 123K took the market into an overheated zone, and the liquidity that we needed for the altcoins, though, that played out nicely, and you're seeing a ton of altcoins just waking up. It's really great, guys. It's what we've been waiting to see. And again, keep in mind, it runs in phases. So some of you may be saying, man, I wanted to go higher. It will, just we have to be patient, because the liquidity has to cycle through the entire market. Remember, it goes from Bitcoin to large caps, to mid caps, to small caps. And I've highlighted these things in my newsletter, so make sure you are subscribed. Let me go to some of these past newsletters where I show, here you go, the crypto money flow in the market, right? So fiat to Bitcoin, to large caps, to mid caps, small caps, back to Bitcoin, fiat. That is how the market makers and a lot of the whales operate in this market. So whether you like it or not, this is the status quo. This is how things run. So some people have been asking me about my XRP price prediction. I see some people in the comment section. I honestly think it's $8 to $10 for the top of the market is what I'm expecting. Whether that plays out, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but right now XRP has been a leader. I shouldn't say right now, but starting in the second half of Q4, XRP has been a leader among the altcoins. So we can use it as a measuring stick to get use it as a benchmark to get an idea of what's happening next for altcoins, because we saw Solana had that mantle of leading the altcoin pack in 2023 and early 2024. Well, now XRP is been doing well. And even look at this, guys. Even with the tariff crash for all markets, XRP held up really well compared to other altcoins, and it was hovering around the 200-day moving average, right? So you had other coins that dipped significantly below the 200-day moving average. So I love what I'm seeing here from the XRP chart. No bias because I hold the token. Just look at the chart, right? All feelings and emotions aside, the chart looks really great. We've already cracked the all-time high that we've hit historically. Now, I know some of you are going to say, Tony, I remember that in 2018, on certain exchanges, the price went to $3.84. Yes, but the aggregate average price on the indices and on platforms like CoinMarketCap, the average was about $3.60 something cents, which once again has been broken. So, technically XRP entered price discovery. Obviously, there's a cool down, but it's looking really, really good, man. Really, really good. There was some news I want to share with you guys. I had shared on the podcast, I think it was Friday or over the weekend, Charles Schwab is ready to enter the crypto market. They've got trillions of dollars of assets under management. And, the CEO took a direct shot at Coinbase, like he wants us to take the business. So Wall Street is capitulating, all of them. You got your laggards like Charles Schwab, but they're all going to bend the knee, folks. This technology is here to stay. And just recently, someone from Charles Schwab was talking about it. And, they said that once the market structure bill, the Clarity Act, is passed into law, it's going to boost investor confidence in the space. And I don't think they're talking about retail. They're talking about institutional, because there's a lot of institutional capital still on the sidelines. They can't touch this asset class directly. Most of them only been able to touch the ETFs, but they would like to do more, but they can't because they don't have the clarity. They're going to be risk averse, right? So incredible to see these statements coming out from Charles Schwab. And Simon Gurovich, the CEO of Metaplanet, which uses a Bitcoin treasury strategy similar to Michael Saylor, tweeted out, "It appears Charles Schwab is now our second largest shareholder with 61.2 million shares, or 8.99% of Metaplanet." That's incredible. So Charles Schwab, despite not being able to touch crypto directly, they're doing it via a proxy, right? These treasury companies. So it shows there's demand. So you can imagine once we have clarity in the market, the floodgates are going to open, folks, because these companies are going to be able to do things with tokenization, staking, DeFi, and borrowing and lending, and much more. It's incredible. Now, the treasury companies continue to dive into crypto. There's so many of them now. And there was a NASDAQ listed company, and I forgot the name of it. But anyway, let me give you some of the highlights, because there's so many news items here. I think one of the biggest items is here. For example, PNC strikes a deal with Coinbase to bring cryptocurrency services to banking customers. Folks, PNC is a bank. Do you see what's coming? And shout out to Coinbase, because they're going to be able to power a lot of the trading services for these companies. It's amazing. Here's some more news around a bank. Their JP Morgan is going to be looking to, JP Morgan explores lending secured by clients, so using crypto and crypto ETFs. So even though Jamie Dimon has been spreading nonsense and FUD for years, his bank now is going all in, launching these services. It's incredible, folks. I think it's game changing, and we're going to see this asset class go to higher levels of adoption. So the valuations, the prices are going to go up. The question is always, are you patient enough? Retail often struggles with patience, because we're used to them getting things instantly, playing the lottery, getting the numbers a week later, going to the casino, pulling the lever on the slot machine, right? Instant results. And mainstream media doesn't help, with retail being able to being patient, that, they get fed narratives. And this is where you need to be educated about the market cycles and how liquidity and all these things affect the market. So hopefully on this podcast, I've helped you guys to understand these things, and, I've given some value to you all, and that you make some great returns this cycle. Folks, as stable coins are rolling out, and we have, legislation that is law now. Western Union, the payment company giant, they're exploring stablecoin rollout in a digital wallet. All the major stock exchanges, payment companies, banks are capitulating. All the dominoes are falling, folks. Do you see what's happening? I hope you're as bullish as I am. Obviously, we want to manage that bullish feeling and emotion with the data, right? But I mean, I couldn't even imagine this in 2016 when I got into the market. It's exciting. It's amazing. Folks, hit that thumbs up button for these institutions capitulating, and they're going to pump your bag. So hit that thumbs up button, hit the heart button, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't as yet. Again, check out our sponsors, Uphold, Trezor, iTrust Capital, Proppy, VeChain. Check out our free email newsletter on Substack, 100% free, folks. Filled with a lot of value and insights. Check out my book on Amazon and my course at mycryptocourse.com. All the links will be in the description. So, folks, it's exciting times. I would love to answer some questions here for you guys in the chat. Let me scroll back up here so I don't want to miss anybody's question. Good to see you, Lucky Luigi. Great to have you. Freecoiner says, I've been here since 2018 and started my channel in June of that year. Tony has been one of the main members of the XRP Army and always has great info. Thanks for the contribution, man. Let's go. Thank you, Freecoiner. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Best of luck with your channel, of course, and you know that we all make some really nice returns this cycle, folks. XRP Nelson, how you doing? Great to have you. No name for me, man. HBAR. So many of you know I have HBAR in my portfolio. I am bullish on this project. HBAR showing some strength here, which is very good. As we've highlighted in Q4, it rallied, but it's back above the 200-day moving average. That's a very good sign. And as we've highlighted in the past, it's not far from its all-time high. So the amount of liquidity it would need to break the all-time high is not a lot, because look, you know, from a percentage gain standpoint, it's at 27 cents. The all-time high was what, 58 cents, 60 cents? We're not far from that, folks. So I believe HBAR, no guarantees, but I believe it will break the all-time high. I would love a dollar plus HBAR. That would be amazing. You know, I'm putting it out there into the universe, right? To have it, to make it happen. But the chart shows positive things here, a lot of strength, and we're seeing movement. Liquidity is hitting the coin. So, you know, ideal scenario, ideal now is this thing goes crazy bonkers and we could see $1.50 plus, but I'm going to certainly start taking profits at $1 and then like $1.25 and so forth. Right. So we gotta time the profit taking with where we're at in the cycle. Are we close to the end and there's not much room for upside? You know, we'll have to look at things like that. So that's where I'll be sharing all of these metrics and signals with you guys as we get deeper into the bull market and towards the blow off top zone. Lek says XLM and WRA about to liquidity. Okay, XLM, I have some XLM, not a lot though, but it's been moving, guys. What we've seen, and I think the market makers are the ones doing this, XLM has been following XRP's move. Not as strong, not the same percentage gains, but XLM, guys, just like HBAR, this thing looks bullish. Look at this. I mean, this is nice. It rallied in Q4. Up to what, the 786 on the Fibonacci. It's currently at the 618 here. I mean, it looks good, and it's not far from the all-time high, which was what, 92 cents near $1, and it's at 46. So it's reasonable to say this thing is going to blast through the old all-time high and maybe $1 plus, maybe, right? I want to make sure I put those caveats because there's nothing set in stone here. We're talking markets and we're talking probabilities. So this chart looks good. If you're an XLM holder, you got to be happy. You got to be happy here because you want to see strength. You want to see the liquidities hitting these coins and they're starting to move in comparison to how they've moved in the past and the highs they've set in the past. If it was down here and not doing anything, then I would say not looking good. Not looking good, right? If it's below the the 236 from a Fibonacci standpoint. So again, not much liquidity necessarily needed to drive this thing to new all-time highs, because the all-time high is just about $1, and it's currently at 46 cents. So that's really good. Hey Jira, how are you doing? The other nomad, thank you for joining. I appreciate the comment, my friend. Eric says the last leg will be insane. XRP going to go as high as $8 to $15. So I believe it will be insane. Will it go to $15? I'm not sure, right? That's where I do think $15 overshoots the Fibonacci. But hey, look, anything is possible. The question is how probable. I don't think it's very highly probable for this thing to go to $15. I think it goes to the $8 to $10 range. And I will happily be wrong on that. I mean, that it goes higher than I expect, but I want to be realistic as well, right, guys? Balance your emotions and your optimism and your bullishness with the data, right? Balance it. Nothing wrong with being optimistic, nothing wrong about being bullish. Just balance it out, because if you operate fully by your emotions, you're going to get wrecked. Markets love to wreck people who move by emotions. And remember, there's a reason the term dumb money exists. Dumb money comes in at the top of the market when everything is euphoric and greed is in the market and it feels like the rally won't end. They come in with the herd, but you don't want to be part of the herd. You want to be a contrarian to the herd. You want to be educated. Okay, I need to look at on-chain data. I need to look at global liquidity. I need to look at what Bitcoin is doing as the leader in the market. I need to look at what the total altcoin market cap is doing. I need to look at Fibonacci levels. I need to look at the Elliott wave analysis. So you got to balance your optimism with the data. Ryan Boylan, thank you for being a channel member, my friend. Thank you so much. It says, what's up, Crypto Nation? The world's largest bull run ever is unfolding right before our eyes. Are you ready? Absolutely. In my recent newsletters, I've been sharing with you guys a Elliott wave chart. Here it is. Right? And showing we're in the fifth wave, and this thing is going to go to trillions of dollars as far as total market cap. One analysis using the Fibonacci, so let's say the total market cap is to hit 4.236 extension. That will put it near a 10 trillion market cap. Now, no guarantees it gets there, but one of the thesis or ideas here is that this could be very similar to the dot-com bubble we saw in 2000, right? And then a big crash. And we know what happened. Narratives followed. Oh, the internet's a scam. See, I told you guys, right? But we know the companies that had real technology, solving a real world problem, they survived and they continue to grow. We're talking about Google, eBay, Amazon. You guys know the story. Something similar could happen here. So again, markets move in cycles. It's all cyclical. There are going to be a lot of people telling you this time is different. I've heard it every bull market cycle since I got here in 2016. This time is different. This time is different. What about this narrative? What about that narrative? Narratives are narratives, man. They come and go. But what does the data tell you, and what is liquidity showing us? So I believe this will be one of the largest bull runs, given that we have legislation, but there will be a bear market. So just be prepared for that. Ryan says, food for thought. Bitcoin on Solana only has 21 million Bitcoins. Do you mean like Bitcoin tokenized on Solana? Bitcoin Repeat says, don't miss it again. Yeah. Heinrich says, Tony, what is your price prediction for VET this cycle? So many of you know I have VeChain in my portfolio. I am bullish on VeChain. Right now, I have to be honest. I have to be transparent with you guys. I'm not too happy. Compared to what I just showed you guys with HBAR, with XLM, VeChain is not showing any strength. It doesn't mean it won't ever. I think the liquidity hasn't made its way down here. But right now, I need this to start moving. So I hope you understand. It is below the 236 extension here in the Fibonacci. We need this thing to be up, similar to how HBAR XLM is. So it's the all-time high here for VeChain. is about 28 cents. I personally think we could get to about 50 cents, maybe a little bit higher. Once again, I am a token holder, so you can say I'm biased, but I think this project has some great narratives, some great partnerships. But right now, man, we need to see more strength. And they will be launching staking soon, so I think that could help. But right now, guys, in full transparency, not happy, but I am still optimistic that once the liquidity starts cycling through the market, it will make its way to VeChain, and we're going to see a rally. But I think it needs to start moving sooner than later, because not looking too good here, right? Again, in comparison to HBAR. Strength, signs of strength, right? Rallying. Now, the good thing for VeChain, it did rally in Q4, but again, not much strength. So we need to see this thing really break out here and start moving. And I hope that happens very soon. Western Canada says, gotta ask why it held up so well, because there's a plan for it. Are you talking about XRP? Like I said, it's been the leader in this market, very strong narratives with, Gary Gensler, the lawsuits getting dropped, ETF issuers. So I think those things are contributing to it, but it's not anything unlike we've seen with Solana in early 2023, as well as late, I should say 2023 and early 2024. So just make sure, again, you balance the narratives with the data. Yeah, for sure. I think all those coins are going to rip. Someone special, great to have you. Good morning. Welcome in. For the Crown says, just hold and keep stacking XRP, XLM, HBAR, VET, and Axel. Those are great retirement cryptos. Worked for me anyways. Yeah, look, as those are great coins. I hold 4 of those. I don't hold Axel, but it's not possible to hold everything. But always do your research, folks. Always do your research. Why are you investing in a coin? How is it performing historically? Is there development activity? Are they getting partnerships and adoption, right? It's important to know that. Yeah, patience is the key, folks. For the Crown says, been stacking since 2019 and still stacking. Yeah, look, 2019 was a bear market. That was a perfect time. Anytime there's a bear market, perfect time to stack, obviously, right? Buy the lows, sell the highs. Mikey says, Flare's starting to move slowly. Yeah, I am bullish on Flare. By the way, I'll be interviewing Hugo Filion of Flare again, and also the some folks who are building some cool things on Flare. Flare, like you said here, Mikey, starting to show some movement. So that's what you want to see, right? Liquidity hitting it, and it's starting to get out of these bottom zones on the Fibonacci here. A positive sign in Q4, it rallied with the rest of the market. As always, though, phases, right? We want to see it move up. The good thing is not far from its all-time high of about 50-something cents here. So again, percentage-wise, not much liquidity needed to push it higher. I'm hoping for certainly a wait, did I say 50 cents? I meant 5 cents. Sorry. Hoping for, maybe this thing could touch 9-10 cents. That would be pretty cool, or higher. And I'll be taking some profits there. Sub-Zero says, I bought USDT. Well, I hope you're trolling and you're just being funny, because USDT is a stable coin. So look at the ones that are currently doing it, HBAR Algo. So I have some Algorand in my portfolio. I have not been happy with the performance of Algo over the years, but my hope is that it can do something this cycle. But just like VeChain, it needs that liquidity. It needs to get going, man. The challenge is with Algo, it's all-time high. There's a big gap, right? Big disparity. It was over $3.20 something, and even the last bull market cycle, it couldn't even break that. So my hope is that it can break at least what it hit in 2021 of $2.77, but no guarantees. But we need more strength here, folks. We're not seeing the strength that we're seeing in other coins. Again, I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying we're not seeing it right now, and we need to let the liquidity cycle through and then see how it wakes up and starts moving. SWI. So I do have some SWI. I think SWI is going to do really well this market. There's huge narratives around it, and a lot of VCs are backing SWI. So let's take a look here. So SWI continues to show a lot of strength. It has been one of the top performing altcoins. I think we could see a $7-8 SWI, honestly. Not guaranteed, of course, right? But I think we could see a $7-8 SWI, and I will certainly be taking profits there. Will HBAR get to $3? Let's see. If we use a Fibonacci based on the previous highs, I don't think so. $3 will take it beyond these extensions, right? Let's say it gets to $2. Still, that's super overheated. I'm personally aiming for definitely $1 and $1.50 ish, and I'll be happy if it goes higher, of course. But you know, again, balance the optimism with the data. No Name says, "Hey, hi Tony, we gaming coins. Are you talking about gaming coins? Thanks, appreciate you tuning in. Which game coins are you talking about? Can you share some in the chat?" Matthew says, thoughts on Chainlink. So I am bullish on Chainlink. I hold Chainlink in my portfolio. Let's pull up the chart here. Let's see how it looks. Okay, let me adjust this chart here. So it did rally in Q4, right? With the rest of the market. Very good sign. It went up to the, what was it? The 586 or something like that on the Fibonacci. Very good sign. Right now, showing some signs of strength. We need to see more, but this is good. It's out of that 236 extension zone here, right? And the old all-time high is about $50. When percentage gain wise, not far away. I'm hoping for $100 plus Chainlink. That would be amazing. I'd be a very happy man, because I've been buying in the bear market, right? Buying the lows when this thing was at like $6 and so forth. So if it can get to $100 plus, that'll be nice. Even if it gets to $90, I mean, that's a great return. But I am bullish on this project. I think it will do well. There's strong narratives. It has a lot of adoption. So let's see how things play out. But I'm definitely looking for $100 plus. Whoops, looks like we got some spammers here. We get on Twitch. Thanks, Kieran. I appreciate it. Bao says, "Hey, Thinking Crypto. I hear a lot of people selling most of their bags for this cycle, but then I hear a potential utility run into 2026 and beyond. What's your thought? Want to max profits?" So, Bao, that's where you have to balance the narrative. That's a narrative. People saying, "Hey, there's a potential utility run." Well, what are they basing that on, right? I have to balance that with the charts and what we've seen in bull markets, not outside of crypto, but also in crypto. And as I highlighted earlier, we have to follow global liquidity. We have to look at what the whales are doing. Are they exiting the market? And use signals that have shown the top, like the pi cycle top indicator, to get an idea what's happening. In addition, you know, the other macro factors like the DXY, the dollar, which is in the dumps, but eventually that thing's going to reverse. And then you're going to have the inverse, the dollar strengthening, risk assets weakening. Also, tether dominance. There's only so much stablecoin liquidity. So again, balance the narrative with the actual data and facts. It's so important, because you can run with a narrative straight into a bear market, right? I've been here since 2016. I've seen it, man. And I fell for it my first go around, because I didn't know better. David R. Morley says, "What do you think about GameStop?" So David, I'm not really, I don't hold GameStop, and I'm not really tracking meme stocks or meme coins. It's so hard to like chart those things and get an idea what's happening, because they're so retail driven. Now, I would say from the macro, as this thing heats up and there's euphoria in the market, like we saw in 2020 and 2021, I think these meme stocks will pop off. How high they go, I don't know. But I treat GameStop as a meme stock, similar to meme coins. So that's my full take on it. You know what I mean? No Name says, is Link going to be the next Sol and ETH? I don't think so. Link has a different use case. It's not looking to be the #1 smart contract layer 1. It's more of, we're going to support blockchains and the infrastructure and other smart contract platforms with our price oracles and all these things. So I don't think they're not in the same swim lane, if that makes sense. So Chan, hey, you previously said $5 to $8 for XRP. Today you're saying 8 to... So Chan, as mentioned earlier, because we have the situation has changed where the Ripple has won the lawsuit. The SEC has dropped their case. President Trump, under his regime, things have completely changed for crypto. And then what I saw is the ETF issuers, there are a ton of them, started filing for XRP ETF. So because there's that demand, that pent up demand, that's why I changed my price target, because I see the demand and tangible things, not narratives now, not narratives, tangible. SEC dropped the case. They've capitulated. Ripple won, right? And those ETF filings. So that is why I raised my target. Plus, tangible now, right? Factual, not narratives. Look at the XRP chart. Like I said, been showing tons of strength. It's been a leader among the alts recently. Let's see here. Sketch Logan says, what is good, gang? I've been investing since 2015 in Bitcoin, and I'm a millionaire, and I watch your channel all the time. Thank you, Satch. I mean, congrats to you, man. You got in earlier than me, and probably many of us here, right? Congrats on that and your success. And I wonder, though, Satch, if you want to answer, are you continuing to invest in the market and the cycles? Because obviously there's more money to be made here. I've often stated that I'm taking profits this cycle. I'm going to reinvest some of those profits in the bloody bear market and prepare for the next bull market of 2028. Why the change? Have you been watching the news? I'm not sure what you're referring to, CMDR. For the Crown says, great interview with Chukrium. Gave me a better understanding of the XXRP ETF. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. That's a good one. And it just shows, once again, the institutional demand. Chukrium, their ETFs has been in the agriculture and energy field. And all of a sudden, they're diving into crypto and they launch an XRP ETF. So it goes back to what I was mentioning earlier. I see demand from institutions for XRP via ETF. So that's why I'm even more bullish on XRP. If that demand wasn't there, I wouldn't be as bullish. But we have to make sure that we reserve the right to change our outlook on the market based on facts, not narratives, not what a YouTuber said, but things that are happening in the real world. You know what I mean? There are YouTubers that make up all kinds of story. This thing, XRP is going to rule the world, all the money and all kinds of stuff. Like, that's a fairy tale. That's a story, right? You're over speculating there. But if you tell me, hey, all the big Wall Street firms are filing for ETFs, the SEC has dropped the case. Those are tangible, real things, right? That can't be argued. And they're big narratives that are, or big news items that are pushed out into the mainstream. So that's very good for XRP. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. How you doing, Jorge? Can we look at Flow? What's Flow? I honestly don't know what Flow is. Let's see. I don't know much about this coin. I have no idea. I think it's probably the first time I'm hearing about it. But let's see. So it's down pretty bad from its all-time high of about near $4. It's currently at 43 cents. So it's got ways to go. And it needs to show more strength. It's not showing the strength and once again, the liquidity may not have hit it yet if we're thinking about how the liquidity flows in the market from Bitcoin to large caps to mid caps to small caps. So if you were to put a Fibonacci model on here, and oops, looks like this was launched in when 2022. Yeah, it's got ways to go to get off that ground level, right? You got to get off ground zero here. So we need to see more strength. Stevens O says, market is holding up very well. Hopefully it will moon by tomorrow. So Stevens, I don't know if you caught the beginning of the stream, but a lot of coins are in the overbought zone, and there is a CME gap for Bitcoin at 115K. So we could see further downside, but a lot of things are overheated. Look at XRP, overbought zone. Ethereum, overbought zone, the RSI. Total 3 with for majority of altcoins in the overbought zone. So we may need more time for this thing to cool down. Or, as I said, scenario 2 is that these coins hang out in the overbought zone like they did in Q4. Notice here, they stayed up there in that green zone and kept rallying, right? So this is where we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I want higher prices sooner than later, but we got to make sure we account for multiple scenarios. Glenn Torres says, being here watching since 2022. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. 2022 in the bear market. So we went through some rough times, right? But hopefully you bought the blood on the streets in the bear market, because that's the perfect time to buy. And you are up right now. Folks, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Hit the heart button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Again, check out our sponsors, Uphold. Great place to buy, sell, and stake your crypto assets. Trezor, they make beautiful hardware wallets that make it easy to self-custody and safely store your crypto. I'm a user of the Trezor Safe 5. They support all the top coins out there. Use the code ThinkingCrypto, all one word, to get 5% off. Check out iTrust Capital, a great alternative with huge tax benefits. And they have a great custody program, very safe. I would say second to self-custodying, because they use a bank to custody your crypto assets. They have IRAs, and they have a what's called a premium custody account. So again, great tax advantages. Set up your IRA, roll over your 401k, and they have like 80 plus cryptocurrencies. So check them out, and you can get $100 funding bonus by using my link. Check out Proppy. I'm a Proppy token holder. I have been since 2018. They're putting real estate on chain, folks. All assets will be tokenized. Proppy's leading the charge. Check out VeChain. Many enterprises and companies are using them globally to build Web3 technology. I'm a VET token holder, have been since 2018. They are partnered with Dana White and the UFC, doing some very cool things. So check them out. Be sure to subscribe to my free email newsletter, 100% free on Substack, folks. A lot of the charts, the data, the updates on the market are shared in this newsletter. So it's free, folks. Just subscribe and get straight to your inbox weekly. Just a lot of value and insights and updates about the market. Check out my book on Amazon and my course at mycryptocourse.com, folks. So be sure to check out all those links. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap up in a few minutes because I have an appointment I have to head to, but let me get some more questions and things in here. AJ says, Tony, I'm a big fan of all the stuff you share with us, especially the amazing interviews with industry leaders in the crypto space. Importantly, you have a great, polite personality to keep that energy flowing, rare to see in the internet community. I'd like to know your opinion on EOS, or now called Volta. Thanks, AJ. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support and the kind words. So EOS is one of those legacy coins, right? And you mentioned they rebranded. I don't own any EOS. I never did, even back when I discovered it in 2017. Around that time, they did their big ICO. And let me see here. Okay. Rebranded as Volta. I don't know much about what's happening with this project, honestly, but let's take a look at the chart. Currently trading at 59 cents. Let's see if we can pull up something here for it. Trying to see which major exchange it has a listing on. All right, it looks like there's a tether pair. So it looks like this was a recent rebranding, and the data, there's not much data here. Wait, okay, let's see. Okay. I don't know how accurate this data is, But similar to some of the other coins, it needs to show strength. If you look at the chart, I mean, because EOS was once at 14 bucks, or in 2020 was at 14 bucks. So it's down pretty significantly. You can see that that's not a very good looking chart, right? That is not a very good looking chart. So we need to see strength. I don't know if there's a high probability of it going back to an all-time high, but as always, depending on your entry price, if you bought it in the dumps here in the bear market and it rallies to $3, you made a nice return, right? So it all depends on your entry price as well. Wizard Magics says, Tony, do you think that XRP will flip ETH this cycle? Keep up the awesomeness. Thank you. I'm not sure. It's possible, but then here's the checkmate by ETH that I think would keep it in that number 2 spot. When staking gets added to the Ethereum spot ETFs, you're gonna see tons of inflows into the ETH ETFs by Wall Street, because they're always on the hunt for yield. So that gives it an advantage, a natural yield built in to the protocol, right? So I think that's gonna help it to maintain the number 2 spot. But it's possible XRP could flip. We've seen it flip it in the past temporarily, but permanently, I'm not sure about that. Thank you, David. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the support. Mr. M, welcome in from the UK. Folks, I'm going to wrap it up. Chan says, do you feel 8 to 10 is quite conservative? No, I think that's actually very bullish. Could it overshoot that? I can only go by the charts, right? And the liquidity. So this is where you got to balance everything out. Your optimism about the coin, and narratives versus the data and the charts. Folks, I have to go because I have an appointment, but thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you all. I'm wishing you all the best of luck in this bull market, that you make incredible returns, guys. And, that this bull market is one of the largest, and just have a plan if you're planning to take profits, right? Know what you're doing. Don't get caught flat-footed. I speak from experience, being here since 2016. So that's why if I keep hammering home on these things, it's because I don't want you guys to miss out on the gains. I want all of you to make money, and some of you may make life-changing money. Just make sure you have a plan, because remember, it's monopoly money. It's all on paper until you take profits, because your portfolio can go up and down. It's unrealized gains, right? So just keep that in mind. And once again, check out our sponsors and all the links in the description. Thank you guys for your support. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.